Vanakkam and welcome to Suvai Radio, folks. This is RJ Sudha, founder and anchor of Suvai Radio. We have in this podcast a fellow Tamilian, Soma Velayutham. Soma Velayutham is the General Manager of NVIDIA. Welcome, Velayutham, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, you can call me Soma. Vanakkam. I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sure. Mr. Velayutham's expertise is in this field of AI, accelerated computing, 5G, and he's also an intrapreneur of NVIDIA. His primary vision is to drive global telecommunications industry in AI and deep learning. Soma is a very, very successful serial entrepreneur, as against an entrepreneur and product leader with more than 25 years in software and high-tech industry. He has incubated and launched multiple software products globally for large corporations. He has also mentored early startups and Stanford incubation programs. Welcome to Suvai again, Mr. Soma Velayutham, and to Suvai and to our viewers. We look forward to this interview as much as everybody else at NVIDIA would be. Before we go into this podcast, let me first congratulate Mr. Jensen Huang, the President and CEO of NVIDIA, for the Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award bestowed on him recently. And from Suvai Radio and from everybody at the Silicon Valley, we really want to congratulate your CEO on this great achievement.
Yeah, congratulations to him. I agree.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure it is a big moment. NVIDIA has pioneered the technology that AI applications now depend on. Totally today, virtually every major company you say, look at Facebook, look at Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, practically everybody they use NVIDIA's chips. Also called AI ubiquity, as per the term coined at TiCon 2024. Let's start the questions. Let's start the podcast right away without further ado. Sir, could you explain what is AI? There's so much, as I told you, AI ubiquity is going on all over, whether you wanted to hear it or not, whether you want to use it or not, but everybody directly or indirectly uses AI. Could you tell us in layman terms, what is AI?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's an important place to start. Uh, you know, one sentence I would say is AI is software writing software. So what does that mean? It means previously when we used to write computer programs, there was a logic, a human being will actually write the logic. It'll say, if this, then do that. And it was hand coded, and the software stayed the same. From the day you wrote it for the next 20 years, it still stays the same. AI and machine learning is basically you seed an algorithm and the software starts improving itself over time. And software basically writes software.
So it's almost like raising a child.
Yeah, exactly. So another example I can give you is, instead of writing a specific logic, if they're not, what you would do is, it's like these days with AI, it's almost like planting a seed. Algorithm is the seed. You say, I want to grow mangoes, and you plant a mango seed.
Okay.
And then what you do is you provide soil, which is a lot of computing power. And then you provide water, which is a lot of data. So by that, the seed knows how to nurture itself and basically grow and produce mangoes, right? So that's basically AI and machine learning. And software writing software is, the first software I wrote is an algorithm. And then I basically provided it computer power, and then provided the training data, which is water, and it just learns how to write software by itself, right? And that's basically the foundation of AI.
Got it. Fantastic. Okay. Now, as many of us have been reading and Googling about AI, because AI is, as I say, ubiquitous. AI has been around since 1950s, but there's a big leaps and bounds in terms of the usage of it only in the recent past. What has caused this sudden growth spurt of AI around us?
Right. Kind of the answer lies in my first response. Basically, a lot of the thought process, the algorithm has, or at least in textbook, has existed for a long time. a few things change. One is digitization of data.
Mm.
The IT industry, and in the last 40 years, we've been constantly digitizing data. A good example is photographs. We all took analog photographs,
Yeah.
film format, and
Yeah.
in the last 10 years, I don't think I don't think you've seen a film camera in the last 5 years or 10 years,
Oh
right?
no, never.
It's all digital cameras. So just like photographs, almost every data we use are now in digital format.
Right.
Having it in digital format, it's now computer readable very easily. And therefore, the amount of data that you can feed the computer has gone exponentially. Almost everything is in a digital format. And therefore, the computer can crawl and learn on those kind of data. So that's the water we talked about. It has data to learn on. And secondly, thanks to companies like NVIDIA, we have invested a huge amount in computing technology. And the computing technology has reached a tipping point now, that accelerated computing that NVIDIA is invested in. So the power of computing combined with the data
availability.
availability is now basically given what we call as the big bang or the boom of AI with algorithms. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. There are several areas where AI is being used, as we know, or maybe we know or we don't know. We're agnostic to some areas where it's being used. But what are the main verticals where AI is being used today?
Yeah. All verticals are being used. I think maybe there are two ways to answer the question. First is what kind of use cases? One is, I would say, recommendation engines. We all use Google, we
Right.
use Netflix. So when you type something, Google is already thinking about the next thing to give.
Steps ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of knows where you're going, it's predicting, and therefore fetching information ahead of time, recommending you information, right?
Right.
Like when we shop in Amazon, it says if you bought this, by the way, the users
Buy
also.
this too.
So recommendation engines have been one of the first users, I would say one of the big users of AI. The other one is computer vision, which is very visible these days. Computer vision. Your Ring camera now can recognize somebody's walking in. It understands face, it understands images. So image recognition and computer vision is another big body of work. Autonomous driving has started to use a lot of AI. Autonomous driving is not possible. Our Tesla cars that drive,
Yes.
using a huge amount of AI, both in terms of data recognition, image recognition, putting all this together, path planning. So huge amount of work in autonomous vehicles. And last but not least, again, another something that we use very commonly is natural language processing, right? So you are talking to your, instead of typing everything, you can now talk. You can say, hey Siri, what's the time? Or hey Google, or hey Alexa, everything starts talking, right?
Right.
My Siri just started talking.
She got excited. Okay.
She was listening, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we do this actually in every day in our life without realizing it. We are using AI in this space. Like for example, using Google recommendation engines, Amazon, computer vision, even our, Face ID in our phones is actually a computer vision. It's actually recognizing our face, right?
Right.
Natural language processing, Siri. And then of course, the last, I would say the big bang now that's happened is generative AI. Generative AI is a new class of AI, which is extremely powerful. And that's our ChatGPT, which we call as large language models, technically. And that is now the big buzz, right? So the company that had 1 billion customers in less than 1 year was actually ChatGPT. So this is a revolution in the industry, right? In the world. There's been no other product that's been this successful. So ChatGPT or LLM is the last, the most known AI.
And most recent and most successful of all the AI.
Most known, yes.
Right. Okay. So summing up, so we do have the search engines, the e-commerce companies, we have self-driving cars, and we have chat GPTs, and we have image processing. Fantastic. So several applications, the verticals that are being used currently. And as you said, chat GPT is the most current and most widely used, and that is going to prevail for a very long time, you can say.
So,
Right. Considering that you have a very rich background in telecommunications from your previous stint at Nokia, and now you are adding a layer on top of it with at NVIDIA. How is AI being used in the telecommunications industry? We have not touched the topic in your previous vertical, so I was wondering how is AI being used in the telecommunications industry?
great question. It's one of the questions, I'm so excited, I've been fortunate that NVIDIA has given me this opportunity to work on. I would
Nice.
say that, I can break it down to
I'm
short.
happy to say that I'm also a telecommunications person. So when I
Okay,
saw the background in telecommunications, and
right.
I thought I should jump in and ask that question.
Very good, very good. So there's a short term and then there's a longer term impact. The short term is most companies like AT&T and Verizon and so on, they all have a lot of customer care and knowledge management.
Right.
So when you call the call centers, typically you end up waiting for, like if I call Comcast, I have to wait for 15-20 minutes before somebody answers me, or I have to chat with somebody. So there's these companies have large customers, 100 million over customers, and they have to interact with the customers. So the whole idea of customer service, customer experience can be tremendously enhanced with AI. And especially generative AI. So you have chatbots, you have avatars talking to you, and they're very capable of, perfectly capable of taking most of the workflow from the human agent.
Okay.
So this increases the experience. So that's one body of work, which is customer experience, analytics, and improving the operational efficiency of a telco. That's more on the near term. In the longer term, something that we are working on in the longer term, mid to long term, I would say is our wireless industry. If you take about 2G, 3G, 4G, even 5G, it's been around. Wireless industry has been around for about 40 to 50 years.
Yeah.
And all the algorithms is actually a stochastic algorithm, meaning it's a fixed algorithm.
Right.
But wireless industry is actually very it's impacted by the environment. So if you have wind, if you have snow, if you have
rain,
everything impacts the wireless. Wireless communication is deeply impacted by its environment, but the algorithms that run base stations are actually still static.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
it's pretty much static. You do a little bit of tweaking parameterization, but it's a static algorithm. The whole idea is if we can introduce AI in the base stations, it actually is self-optimizing and actually site-specific. So the AI learns its own environment. It understands how the environment is, and based on the environment, it is actually able to self-optimize how it provides services. Wow. So it increase the spectral efficiency. That means you can have a lot more throughput, increase the quality, reduce the drop calls, keep customer, the whole connectivity in a very good place. So this is the next phase that we are very excited about. We think that we can transform the wireless industry by introducing AI in the base stations for site-specific wireless communication.
Got it. Okay. Right. Okay, fantastic. That's very good information. Yeah. Where do you think, so you spoke about several vertical areas where AI is widely used, and we continue to use and explore, and we learn about the latest generative Gen API. And we also spoke about how the base stations can be self-learning in telecom industry. Where is that area that there's still some potential to deploy AI and we have not hit?
Yeah, I think the wireless industry is one area. It's just getting started.
Okay.
It's definitely, I would say, underexplored. It's getting started. I would say most areas are already, getting well advanced. The medical vertical is moving very fast, especially if you look at the way COVID, the resolution for COVID, or the solution for COVID was found, used a lot of AI, and NVIDIA played a key part in that. If you look at retail industry starting to use a lot of AI, I think many industries are quickly adopting AI. And your question was which ones are slower or less adapted or more potential. I would say my industry, which is why I would say it's a big opportunity for us. Wireless is one of the later ones to adopt. And yeah, I'm not sure about other industries in terms of the pace of adoption.
Yeah, I think I can tell medical industry is growing very fast and adapting the AI platform.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can tell from your name that you have a very rich and rich Tamil name. So
Yeah.
tell me who, I mean, all of us have some favorable music composer, music director, music writer, music poet, etc. For me personally, Bharatiyar is a favorite poet because he embraces women. He has a lot of women empowerment poems in his literature, and he's a polyglot by himself. He doesn't stick to just Tamil, but he's a French. He does a lot more. Who is your favorite? Who's your favorite Tamil poet?
Yeah. So first, before that, I'll tell you a little secret. I actually grew up in Malaysia,
Mhm.
born and brought up in Malaysia, and so I was not
Whose
formally.
music is that?
So I said I was born and brought up in Malaysia,
Okay.
and I was not formally trained in Tamil. So I'm actually very, of course, I learned to read and write. So
Mhm.
my Tamil reading and writing skills are limited,
Okay.
but I speak very fluently, and of course, I speak Tamil at home.
Okay.
My
Okay.
son, who's 4 years old, he speaks Tamil as well here. But thanks to YouTube and everything, I absorb a lot of knowledge through
Oh,
listening a lot more. Anyway, to answer your question, my favorite poet is actually Thiruvalluvar. I think he's my
ah, okay.
because it's not just about just in your case, you explained about women empowerment. I like him because of it's just the space he covers. Right from morality to
Of course.
politics to we talk. I mean, I think there's nothing that's not covered. It's an entire life journey through his just
Absolutely.
1,330 verses, right?
How much of it have you covered?
I've listened to most of it, but I know I can't. I can probably recite one or two, but I listen to it, and you can keep listening to it, right?
There
So,
is no end to it because
yeah,
the collection is innumerable, and he has practically covered on every topic that we can think of,
right,
right?
right. And
So,
there's, by the way, there's somebody who's actually released what they call as I think it's called Tirupurul GPT
right.
or GPT,
Yes,
if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
yes.
And
Recently, somebody came up with it. Yeah.
yeah, that's so wonderful. It's like you can actually now talk to Thiruvalluvar. You can
Yeah.
ask him a question, and the knowledge of Tirupurul is now presented back to you in a chat GPT or GPT format
Fantastic.
or
Who would
chat.
have thought about it, huh? Who would
Yeah,
have thought about it? Yeah.
that's a great
Uh,
thing.
so I teach Tamil spoken English to some Tamil students, Tamil medium students in Tanjavur district, and they came up with the same thing. They had a competition and they had to recite some Tirukkural in their class for the annual day functions, and many of them they just recited the Kural, and then I asked them, "Do you know the meaning of that?" இல்ல மேடம் எங்களுக்கு தெரியாது எங்களுக்கு குரல் படிக்க தான் தெரியும். And then I used the same tool that you said, that Kural GPT, and then I translated the work for them in English, and I made them read it, and then they were excited about the whole thing. It was just so exciting for them. So
Yeah,
life life has changed. Life has taken a different route altogether with the AI, and how it applies to our modern life as well,
right.
and to a common man as well in many ways. Yeah.
That's it. That's right.
Any parting words, Mr. Velayutham?
Yeah, I would just say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I
Yeah,
think,
pleasure is ours and our listeners and everybody in the community,
yeah, and the other
because
thing is,
NVIDIA paves the way for AI, and you are all doing wonderful job at NVIDIA. So we are so grateful for the work that you're doing, because the more you work hard, the more better we are at the receiving end of your work.
okay. Yeah, again, thank you. And just want to say that, for the listeners, the best way to know about AI is to dive in and, start dabbling with it. The more you use, the more you learn. It is going to be the next phase of how do I say, they call it the industrial revolution, and now it's going to be the AI revolution. So it's the next, I think the last 30 years was dominated by IT and digitalization. And this next few years or next 10 or whatever, next decade is probably going to be an AI. So I hope all our Tamil listeners will dive in and take advantage of the AI era.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think most of them are already into it.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.